Let's go. I'm better than ever, they never been better than I. Regarded the hardest and I ain't even reaching my prime. They hate that I'm great and they faking I'm real as they come. So sit back and let me show you how this shit is done. My composition, my propositions, I'm raping the system. I'm killing the competition and all of y'all are my victims. Eyes and oohs as I'm ripping the instrumental. Lyrical, individual, never been sentimental. I'm so hot every time that beat drop. And when I say I'm raping the
What's going on, everybody? Fight Night's Finest here, coming at you with another Fight Night Champion online ranked match. Bernard Hopkins going up against Joe Frazier. Now, this video is more about addressing a problem I see. And it's been a while since I've done some recorded commentaries, and I've been mostly uploading live commentaries to show you guys the way I think and the way I process things when I'm playing this game. I think that's done good for the community, but at the same time, I'm noticing a repetitive issue where people are not thinking when they're playing. And I know that's kind of weird to say, but I feel like a lot of people are falling to the habit of flow. You don't know what flow is, there's a link in the description with a video explaining everything about flow, but just a quick synopsis of it. It's when you just get in this state where you're enjoying yourself, and it's like you're not conscious of anything that's taking place. You're just doing things like on autopilot. It's kind of like driving to work and not knowing how you got there, in a sense. But in this case with video games, it's just something you do when you're enjoying yourself, as I stated earlier. So it's almost like people play the game without any form or plan of attack. They don't ask themselves questions, they don't adjust to what it is the opponent is doing. They just go in there and they fight, and they throw combinations that they're used to throwing. They throw punches that they're used to throwing. And they never adjust to the strengths of their opponent. I think that is the best way to put it, because it's not that everybody's a bad player. A lot of you guys are great players. From people I spar in the league to some of the people I've come across online. But if you're always going into the game with just the attitude of, I like to be an outside fighter, or I like to be a counter puncher, and that's all I'm going to do, when your opponent could be easily weak to a good inside game or moving in a certain direction, like always moving right. Or even players who get a little bit of success, land in certain combinations, and then they stand there and they continuously keep trying to trade. There's no form of patience. There's no backing off and using footwork, not managing the clock time correctly, not trying to throw your opponents off of basic principles such as rhythm and timing, just small things like that. There's no switch up. It's just one gear the entire fight. Or, for example, players with stamina problems. They know they have issues when it comes to the later rounds during fights, but they still go gun blazing while winning rounds early, trying to play for knockouts. There's just a lot of little things that don't add up, and I feel if you're asking yourself questions during the fight, these mistakes are easily fixable. For example, if you won the first 3 rounds and you see the judges' scorecards come up, by just being patient and counterattacking, why would you try to step up the pace and try to get a knockout? Or if you notice you won the first 3 rounds, but you had to use a lot of stamina to get it, now you need to come up with a different plan of attack, because let's say you don't get the finish. What ends up happening, you lose a fight that you were easily winning just due to not having the stamina. And that's more of you not being aware of your own limitations as a player. These things come, or these fixes come, or these solutions come by just knowing yourself as a player, knowing your weaknesses, and knowing your opponent's weaknesses. But if you don't ask yourself questions and you just throwing punches just to throw them, how do you ever expect to win fights, or how do you expect to get better if you're just playing just to play? So that's something I've been noticing, and it's something I would like to see people who watch this channel especially fix, because this is the secret online strat. Like, this is the secret online technique. It's not about how well you can sidestep uppercut or how well you can spam. It's not about using the buttons and the analog stick. It's not about using Philly shell with a cross block. Good players, or players that win a lot, think. That's really the secret to winning on this game, or to winning on any game, or being successful with anything. Is asking yourself questions and making adjustments based on those observations. If you can't do that, you're gonna always stay at the same level that you're at, and you're never gonna improve, or you're never gonna get better. And especially when it comes to facing better competition, you're always gonna run away from that, because it's like, oh well, I already know the outcome of this. The outcome is always gonna be the same because your plan of attack and your way of playing is always the same. And like I said earlier, this is something I really hope that a lot of you guys hear in this video and say, okay, I understand exactly where you're coming from, and I'm going to look to change this. For example, this match here, it's clearly not against the greatest opponent, and I use this as an extreme example to show a player who's not thinking and just reacting, just doing things. They just know in a fight you have to be able to land punches. So he's not noticing something as simple as the range of his hooks. He knows Joe Frazier is good with left hooks, so he's constantly throwing left hooks. If you're going against a light heavyweight with a heavyweight, all you have to do is land a more cleaner, effective shots. That's just common game knowledge. You hit harder, you have a weight advantage. So automatically, there should be no reason why you're losing against a light heavyweight playing the character you're playing. So, like I said, has more power, just has to land a cleaner, effective shot. Not understanding basic principles on range, realizing that he needs to be in close in order to land a lot of his shots. If you're going to use an inside fighter, you have to be able to cut off the range. You're getting countered. Why? Because you're just throwing punches, you're button mashing, hoping that you get the job done. No sense of stamina control. And this is an extreme example, but good players do the same thing, or players who understand the controls do the same thing. You just throw 3, 4, 5 punch combinations, or 2, 3 punch combinations, or stick to throwing 2 punch combinations when they're losing a fight and they need more activity because their opponent is more precise. So you have to be on the inside now and land 4 or 5 punch combinations. If you're not able to do that, you're going to continuously lose fights that you should be winning, or not have a chance at all of winning fights that you shouldn't. If you just ask yourself these small little things, that's the adjustments that have to be made in order to win a fight. But like I said, this was an extreme example. I know it wasn't the greatest quality opponent, but I'm gonna upload some more raw gameplay so you guys can just see what I mean. I don't want to keep pointing out everybody's mistakes or over analyzing gameplay like I see some commentators do. They will sit there and they'll tell everything that's going on in a match and like constantly call the smallest of details out, but it's not giving the viewer a chance to learn anything by just constantly saying, oh, and then I went for this left hook and there's this right hook here and then this is my favorite combination. That's not how you commentate to teach people anything. If you just walk somebody through it and don't allow them a chance to notice these things for themselves, they're never going to get better, or your viewers are never going to get better. So just notice what I did in this fight. Notice the chances of the counter opportunities I was looking for, the observations I was making. Try to see it on your own with the next 2 videos I'm going to upload. And like just leave your thoughts in the comment section of the things that you notice that I'm doing, or just apply them to your own game. So I hope this commentary was helpful in some way, shape, or form. If you enjoyed, go ahead and hit the like button for me. Follow me on Twitter, Twitch, all that good stuff. Links are in the description. It's been your boy, Fighting His Finest, the Silver Commentator, and I'm off this. Peace!